We get to build a race car.
We had to buy the car from a teacher.
$10,000 what you're given.
9-week time frame.
Race it against another school.
Ever since then, I've been hyped up about it.
We're gonna go hunting for this notorious bug they call a yellow jacket.
East Hickman, Yellowbirds.
Our reaction was just kind of like, why?
Shock.
Something a kid would love to have to drive to high school.
Both teachers donated their cars, so we got to keep the $10,000 for parts. It adds up when you're building a car.
All right, let's do this.
All right. This to me is better than any football game I've ever seen.
We started out in our very first game, a game that we should have won.
The game was really close. We fumbled it and they scored a touchdown.
We ended up losing by an extra point.
Fairview football starting off a little rocky.
East Hickman High School's football team needs work.
Don't be too hard on our guys.
The first game we had was versus Battleground Academy. We didn't score many points. We didn't score any points versus them, and they scored quite a few.
It's not 46-0 BGA.
Come on, when I got in there, they did not. You mean the team that went 1-9?
I don't want to talk about it.
All I could really do is watch. It sucked.
A year ago, we couldn't wait to get a football team. Now y'all want to fire the coach. We just need to sit here and be happy we got a team. And we got to beat Fairview. Don't forget Fairview. You know, we don't think about Fairview much anyway.
First thing I want to do is do the inside. This is where we're going to be taking the interior out of the car. The seats are loose already.
We were talking amongst ourselves pretty good.
Look how much work we got to do to it. Look at all the rust and everything on it.
Undo the screws, we'll put a box, put all those parts in them, because we'll have to put them back in the car.
I even had dreams about the car, how hard it's going to be.
I just think it's going to be a lot of work, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do it.
Everybody know what you're supposed to do? Definitely got some cancer we got to deal with.
The doors wouldn't open. I think I had to Dukes of Hazzard my way out of the windshield a couple times. Took out the seat belts, took off the bumpers.
I took all the outside trim off and the headlights. They were in very bad shape. It had rust spots all around the bottom, all beat up.
It was like unpimp my ride.
It's looking good. The more weight we get off this thing, the better off it's going to be. The lighter the car is, faster it goes. Throw it in the garbage. You can just throw that away.
Are we even going to have a car left?
Disassembly is fun for the students. They enjoy tearing things apart, and maybe too much. That's why I warned them before we started about a few things. Label everything. Do not take anything apart and just lay the pieces down. Because if we lose it, that's just time lost for no reason. I wanted the kids to experience what it was like to be part of a real team. This was our first test to see if we could turn a class into a race shop.
I swept, pretty much kept the shop clean. About all I could do.
Pulling out the gas tank, it was really scary.
Steve, go drop the transmission jack.
That'll work.
We had to get it out before we could start welding.
We had the car like preloaded to the ground, and there was 30 guys up underneath trying to get it out. It was gonna fall, tip, something.
Finally, we got it out.
It wasn't a perfect teardown, though. Somebody lost a utility knife, and we had to have it to remove the insulation. This is gonna be the biggest problem, finding stuff. Finding it when you need it.
We found it. Don't ask where.
Laying on top of the car the whole time. At least close the blade up on it if we're done with it. I hope that's the only thing we lose.
I started stripping the doors. When we were pulling out the windows, I understood Hobbs's plan. This Monza is going to be light.
We're going to take this rod that operates the door. We'll screw the plexiglass in. We've already lost a lot of poundage through rust, so that's a good thing. Salvaging this door is critical. We don't want to start hunting down third-party doors for this car. We have to be extra careful here because there's a lot of rust. But Curtis came up with a good idea to help us out.
Cut it.
Cut it right around here.
I cut out the areas where the bad rust was. We can weld new pieces in later, so we'll worry about it then.
And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the kids to think,
Ooh, that got hot.
come up with some ideas and do some stuff on their own. Total weight removed from both doors, about 80 pounds.
Any insulation?
I believe that's a rat's nest. We don't want to leave any eagle food in this car.
We have a car sitting here. What are we gonna do for parts?
To deal with kids and to deal with business, it's two completely different jobs. We've got to convert our shop over to a business.
And somebody said, oh, we can have a car wash. I was like, I'm pretty sure I don't look that good in a bikini. It's no secret, Hickman County's a poor county. We have a car sitting here. What are we gonna do for parts?
With us being the first school that done this program, no one knew about it.
We couldn't get anything.
Yeah, I'd like to give you $10,000 worth of parts, but I've never heard of you.
We were gonna borrow parts, I guess. I didn't know where we were gonna go with it.
The Fairview community is not really that big unless it's football or, sports.
I've had kids hunting for parts for weeks. You get the rest of our pieces ordered, seat belts, fuel cell, brakes.
I'm having a hard time with rotating assembly in a block.
Running down a block right now and trying to get with a company to donate one or give us a break on one.
I had no idea it would be this hard to get what I needed.
We had some problems with getting these companies to take POs, purchase orders, when we were trying to buy parts.
Can't get a check cut that day. Everything's a process.
We had to do a lot of begging, sending them stuff before they would even take our order.
To deal with kids and to deal with business, that's two completely different jobs. And I knew I had to have help. Once you work on finding somebody to put us together, just a simple little email, like a newsletter, or send out some sponsors.
This car is going to cost a lot more than $10,000.
We've got to convert our shop over to a business. Anything that can help, guys. Put a bucket out here instead of buying a water. We'll put $1 or 50 cents in it, and we'll raise our own money.
Promoting our car through posters. Our idea will come up about a car show too.
Remind you about the car show. It's 29.
Get the cheerleaders to do a car wash for us, make some money. A little extra cash.
And somebody said, oh, we can have a car wash. I was like, I'm pretty sure I don't look that good in a bikini.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everybody wanted to help us.
Last night, we got a gift.
East Hickman High School, $500.
Who's it from?
East Auto Parts.
Paul and Sandra Beard stepped up, guys, last night.
Car wash obviously couldn't be during school hours, and I'm guessing being none of the other girls ever showed up.
It's hard to forget that you got nothing.
Some of the parts are on our way. Their heads and our intake was donated by a company.
The Edelbrock Corporation is very proud to be a part and supplying the parts.
I feel better already. I'm beginning to lose a little sleep at night. This is a lot to think about, so that does make me feel better.
It means so much to me to see young people working on engines, learning to work with their hands, doing things that's constructive, rather than be out on the streets doing things that are not constructive.
That's the phone call we need.
I look through the glass to see the city.
Yesterday, I had 3 calls to drive the car, now that people have found out what we've got. 2 of them are world record holders in the NMRA. We're gonna have an opportunity that most people will never ever have. Gentlemen, you're fixing to step into a world that very few people ever experience when it comes to horsepower. These guys here are a dream for a lot of people. But as a kid told me here a while back, Mr. Collins, this usually happens to somebody else. Well, guys, it's happening to you now.
We got to start on a roll cage.
It was more like a rust cage.
We're gonna have to get some serious help.
The car has to go to NADC to fix the chassis.
They have the skills and the tools to build the frame, and we do not because we're only teenagers and we have no idea what we're doing.
We got to start on a roll cage.
Like a storm pouring from the sky.
It was more like a rust cage.
Both used one of these before?
Yeah.
Put it right up against this. Good, got one. Good deal.
It seemed like a waste of time cutting all this old car. Shouldn't we be putting in a new roll cage?
Fairview chose to build a Monza. It's been a drag racing favorite for years. But for high school students to build a tube chassis car, that's an ambitious project.
You can stay.
Today we're putting in a new roll cage.
When he starts bending it, you'll need to be back because both ends of the metal will start to move. It'll actually fold around.
It's a tough job, so I asked my dad to help teach the kids to do it.
So I'm gonna let y'all get a little bit of what I've got over the years.
Bending tubing is an art. I wanted the kids to see how a cage was actually made.
Always make sure the pins fit good. Just measure 16 inches. Right there, 90 degrees. Let's bend it. Real easy.
These kids caught right on. I gave them the formulas and the book, and they went right to work.
And the bars came out nearly perfect. Of course, they'll need to be fabbed.
Curtis, he's a big, important part of the program. The kids look up to him because he's had some experience with sanding and body work.
Loud, hard worker. He's smart, fun to be around.
Okay, go ahead and set it out. He makes the other kids better.
A lot of the students were new at this, first time they've ever done anything like this before. They're worried that we're not going to be able to get this car finished on time.
Come on, baby.
You got to keep calm, take your time,
Bottom's loose, top's loose.
and you'll get it done. If you do it right, we'll win.
There you go. You didn't think he'd come out of there, did you?
If we don't, maybe next year.
Work at a welding shop and everything have, so I've got experience in welding and machine work, so that kind of put me in charge of the fabrication point of it.
First time I met him, he ran into the door of my truck. Michael is a leader. He's put probably the most time into this car.
That ain't got anything else better to do.
He was here for 17 hours.
I need a girlfriend. I guess that's all there is to say. I need a girlfriend, they don't have a life.
When you're dealing with kids, you don't know what kind of commitments you get because you got parents and so many of them work and different things.
I play snare drum in the band. I'm the only snare drummer.
I'm in the marching band. I have ROTC. I have work. I'm coming.
I work duck welding. They've always been understanding, you know, school's first.
I have to pick up my little sister every afternoon. It's just not fair to her to have to ride the bus home, even though I know she loves doing it. The bus driver is bus driver's a nice lady, but the kids on the bus, they can really torment her, and I just don't want Lindsay to have that. I've always been tormented about my weight, and I just don't want it happening to her. I'll see you later, okay? Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
The biggest problem I have with Curtis is he has so many projects at school. He's a great kid. I'll take any amount of time we can get from him.
It's going to be a challenge. It's going to have to, a lot of hours after school, weekends possibly, and everything, which is all fine.
Michael is a kid that you can show him one time, he picks right up. Once you tell him anything, he can expand on it, and that's very rare in kids nowadays.
If Michael can do the welding for us, it's a huge advantage.
Need to put the tube right at the start of the bend.
This is Michael's big test. I think I've got myself a welder.
The car needs a lot of body work.
We're about ready to go.
We're gonna have to get some serious help.
The car has to go to NADC to fix the chassis. We don't have any kids or myself that's able to do that.
They have the skills and the tools to build the frame, and we do not because we're only teenagers and we have no idea what we're doing.
Michael Brown, he's got something in his eye.
We should have bought a Camaro.
I would say no tube chassis.
The car was pretty rotten to say the least, but I'm sure as a finished product will be great.
Guys, we gotta get on this. We're looking at week 4 next week. That leaves us 5 weeks after that. Everybody that walks in this shop goes, guys, y'all ain't gonna finish this car.
I've built race cars with my dad before. I've never actually seen that done, building a car in 9 weeks.
Right now, because it's out of the shop, we're just kind of worried. Well, at least I am, because we're not going to have it for the next couple of weeks.
The Drag Race High program kind of came to us through a sales rep and wanted to know if we could kind of bring a car in and help them. Basically, they wanted us to design a frame. This car had no means a type of frame that you would race with. The car was pretty rotten to say the least, but I'm sure as a finished product will be great.
that we might not be able to get everything we need to get done. We'll be rushing at the end.
I think we should switch cars.
In order to really build a car of this nature, you have to know exactly what you need beforehand.
I know everything that has to go in these cars. I'll tell you what gear for the horsepower, the size tire you need to run.
We should have bought a Camaro.
And provide those parts beforehand. If not, at any kind of time frame, it will not happen.
Sending the car over to NADC is either going to be brilliant or a catastrophe.
I would say no tube chassis.
You simply tear down everything minus the body of the car. It all has to go.
The Fox body Mustang, chassis-wise, you can put a couple K members underneath, to tie in the frames and stiffen it up, by going with the cage. Definitely putting an advantage into the car.
When we put the cage in last night, the cages fitted every bar but 2. Michael's going to finish welding it up this morning. Glasses, please don't forget your glasses while these grinders are going and the welders. Don't look at the weld. I know I shouldn't have to remind you, but even the best forget that sometimes, burn their eyes. Dale, get them started.
I had already welded the plate, made my weld, and I was just going through and cleaning it up with the grinder. As I was grinding, a spark flew off the side of the car.
Michael Brown, he's got something in his eye, and you got an eye wash station that we can just run.
I went ow and probably said a bunch of cuss words.
I'll send him up.
Okay. All right. Just don't put your hands in your eyes.
I only got 2 eyes. So.
Just don't rub.
After that, we had to wear glasses and our face shields, which is something I should have been doing in the first place, but I didn't. Didn't feel good. Always wear safety glasses in the shop. Whenever you're grinding, wear a safety shield.
The problem we've had with the hood is we called the company and the hood and the trunk lid, they said it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. We're going to call them back today and see if I can beg a little bit harder to get them within 2 to 3 weeks.
I bet we could find a Camaro hood quick.
You just want to cut through the paint and the primer with 80. Doing pretty good. Go down to the 120.
Just here a couple minutes ago, I just started sanding away at the hood. I couldn't get the connection back on right. I've done it before. Maybe someone else should try.
About it.
When they get it done, get the car, take it over to media blast, and let some students blast the rest of the paint off of it, which what now we're cutting the paint off with sanders.
We took a last-minute field trip to Strip Masters in Nashville.
I got to go with them. I kind of got to tag along with the guys.
Problem is, the Mustang is going to the body shop in a few days. So this is our last chance to strip it.
And we're running a bit late.
All right, hold it. Fast already, isn't it? I don't think you'll be able to strip it all. You won't have time.
We decided to hit the harder spots to reach.
These crevices up in here, this crevice is up here. The door jams down through here.
Keep the stickers on there. Try to keep it as original as possible.
I brought shirts from work and we customized them.
I really wanted to put it on the spacesuit, so I volunteered to go first.
You're gonna go first.
I wish he'd volunteer like that at school.
Matt, you want to show them how the equipment works?
Something is inside. Back into the rain, I fall again. Ever since the day I met you.
Cody, entertaining.
Hilarious. Class clown. Lover of the ladies.
All I heard was your gun. It was loud. The air was just so cold. Oh man, the more you sweat, the better it felt. The light, it helped see where exactly the paint was that you were taking it off. The helmet was kind of heavy at first. You couldn't really turn your head or nothing, so you had to turn your whole body with it. Then I figured it out. The first line I made, just followed that, and I just got to doing that. Everybody loved it. I was dancing, I guess.
He can't dance, but he did a good job stripping the car.
Once you had it on, it felt really good, man.
Dale done good too. He stripped the paint off pretty quick.
I shot around the door frame. It was a blast.
She didn't know it, but Megan just set her first milestone. She was the first female to blast here.
I want a t-shirt!
It was cool. It took everything off real quick and clean, and it hurt when it hits you. Megan and I cleaned out the car.
We got a lot more finish than we thought, and we only did one thing wrong.
We didn't bring the car cover with us.
It hadn't rained all summer, and it rained at night. We were so tired driving back, we just left it outside. It's covered in surface rust. Plus, we got beat 28-0 in football.
28-0.
At least Fairview didn't win. This is the first time this color's ever been put on a car.
My suggestion is Daphne blue. And Daphne is Dale's.
We didn't have anything to do in the shop.
I'm out of here for 10 days.
No.
We blow that when we went by.
One of the employees out here said they seen a Monza come off the interstate coming down 46. So it's a complete car, drag car.
How many goobers does it take to go find a bunch of bolts?
I was speechless. I was just bumfuzzled with wise.